growing community in the United Kingdom, our channel, Ben TV, presents to you another live current affairs television program. Our focus on the program is to review and discuss issues around the diaspora community in the UK. The program offers you that unrestricted voice on issues affecting you in the UK. Join us live every Monday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us on the show. Still dialoguing diaspora, coming to you live from Ben Television, right from our North London studio here in London, across the whole of Europe, the whole of UK, and of course Africa, and indeed Nigeria on Star Time. Thank you. I am now joined by Temitope Olodo, who is the Christian People's Alliance Member of Parliament candidate for Thamesmead. Tope, yes. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Christian People's Alliance doesn't seem to be very popular. What are some of the policies of the party?
Oh, we have got very good policies. One of our policies are based on Christian principles, and that's the first thing. And as you know, many of your viewers are Christians. At least we have a large majority of Christians. It's a Christian country, and as a result, we need to bring out that Christian value, which is truth, honesty, family life. So we believe in the sanctity of marriage. You know, we believe that disabled people should not be left on taken care of. We believe in helping the needy, which both the Labour Party and the Conservative have not been really for assisting. We have a lot of homelessness. So you know that the Christian community, for example, have a lot of food bank and a lot of NGOs, or what we call charity organizations, have been helping this kind of people. We don't think we should be spending millions on unnecessary things when we should have been spending those money helping, you know, our community, the United Kingdom. And that's the reason why, you know, for this election, we are very grateful to Theresa May for calling this election, because this is an opportunity for Christians out there, you know, to come out and do the right thing. Because, you know, even Jesus Christ, who we believe in, said, "Believe in the Lord your God," you know, and if that's the case, you have only one option this time around. We know that the Conservative, you know, have an intention of going for hard Brexit, you know, and as a result, it might affect us all. We know that the Labour Party is confused. They don't know what they're doing and leading other confused bodies. So the Christian is the option. We are truthful. We know what we're doing, and we want you to vote for it, because the large number, a lot of people, one of the mistakes out there is that, oh, we're going to waste our vote because it's 20,000, the MP, sitting MP, or has 20,000 votes. But the bottom line is, the more we all come together to vote, the better it is. Because if we had that large number, then we could ensure that the right things are done at local level to ensure that we get what we need to get. This is a Christian country. People need to remember that. And as a result, the Christian values, which has helped us to be where we are up today, must not be eroded with people coming in with their own ideology and trying to enforce them on us.
If you, indeed, Britain is a Christian country, but less than 40% are actually practicing Christian.
Oh, no, but
less than 35 actually go to church.
The same way you go to Saudi Arabia and is 99% a Muslim country, and yet maybe the practicing Muslims might not be more than maybe 60%, and you still have. I come from a country like Nigeria, where northern Nigeria, there's a lot of Muslims there, but we know what they do when they carry their cake. We know what they're feeling in it. I know, so we know. So being a Christian country, a lot of people might not go to church because of their work commitment, because, you know, they got they got a lot of things going on, and we're in an economy where it's always moving. But they listen to a Christian channel, they watch news, you know, and they want. And when you listen to the radio, and some of the concerns now in the community now, which is part of the reasons why we're having all these challenges, is that they want Britain to remain a Christian country. They don't want it to be over diluted. We welcome people, and we always welcome, because the Christian ethics is to welcome people, you know. when Jesus was, when some people asked Jesus, why is it that you're not acknowledging me as he said, when I was hungry, you did not feed me. When I needed water, you did, or when I needed clothes, you did not clothe me. Jesus was not talking about himself; he's talking about our neighbors. So we need to be, our neighbor's keeper, and that is the Christian value. So we welcome people. We're welcoming country, and Britain took Christianity out there to the to Commonwealth, and that's why some of us, our parents, were here. Like the normal say they used to say in those days, when you're in Rome, you act like a Roman. We came here, we did what we need to do, we added it to the community, we made it better. Now what we want is for people to respect that, and people to allow that Christian values to continue, to grow, so that we can have peace and tranquility. But we don't want people going around killing people just for the sake of killing people and saying they want to take over the whole place. No, we don't want that. We want the Christian values to be recognized.
Sam, how far right could such a party be when you preach politics on the basis of religion?
How far right? I mean, I'm fascinated by the idea that there might be. I'm really looking forward to the answer to the question: what position would Jesus have taken on Brexit? I think that's a fascinating area to get into. I think it's an interesting pitch because what you're essentially, I think, if I'm sort of understanding what you're saying correctly, you're basically saying we should have a kind of left-wing position on economic issues. We should help the poor. We should help the needy. But at the same time, we want a very kind of socially conservative approach to social issues. So I assume, for example, that you're not in favor of gay marriage, and you're not in favor of things of that sort. And I assume also that it's just kind of generally quite socially conservative. So I'm guessing from kind of the way you're talking about things, but it sounds like one of your concerns is non-Christian migration to this country, and the effect that has had, or the effect that the creation of the presence of large numbers of non-Christians is having on what is British culture. Is that a fair reflection of your position?
Britain has always been a very welcoming nation, welcome people from all over the world, and British people have never kicked against welcoming refugees. Jesus himself was once a refugee, and if Jesus as a refugee wanted to come into the country today, we will definitely welcome that. No, that is not the big issue for us, welcoming refugees, people who are fleeing persecution. When you talk about our international aid, we have no challenge with international aid, but we believe that where there are persecuted Christians, like Pakistan, we should monitor how the money is being spent, not just being used, to send people to Mecca, which is what some of the aid have been used for. So it's about priority and monitoring monies that is being sent out. But charity begins at home. We have a lot of military personnel who have gone out to fight war in Afghanistan because Her Majesty government have asked them to go there to fight war, and then when they come back, they are homeless. And yet we have barracks that are laying with buildings that are laying empty. What is happening? When wealth is good, wealth is a defense, but wealth needs to be used properly, and it's about being your brother's keeper. And it's about taking care of our people here, making sure that food banks is eradicated. What kind of strategy do we have to make sure that family homes are not broken? Because our family homes are broken. 48 billion is being spent yearly, on broken home. So what can we do differently to address those kind of issues? And it's about us coming together collectively to look at it. When we look at Corbyn and the Labour Party, for example, it's confusion over confusion. Is either you leak a paper and then
why?
I'm not picking on them. I'm just trying to explain. And then you have MPs that don't even know their briefs, and they can't distinguish between millions and thousands. It's about coming out and saying this is what we want to do and being honest about it. The challenge we have at the moment with politicians is that they can't come out and say the truth. Now, this is where the Christian party is different. And for most of our viewers right now, what I'm saying to them is that you go to church on a Sunday, or you don't go to church, you watch TV, you watch a Christian on TV, watch your preacher on TV, but you know your views on certain issues. And on June the 8th, when you go there, protest and vote for the Christian party so that we can ensure that this Brexit is proper Brexit. The people have voted.
Well, what is your party's policy on immigration?
On immigration, our policy is controlled immigration. We believe in controlled immigration. For example, we don't believe that that is realistic to talk about the tens of thousands. Because if you're talking about the tens of thousands, for example, you're not being honest. And Christianity is about honesty. So, for example, I'll give you a classic example. We talk about the fact that millions is being spent on medical tourism. But the government have not come up with a strategy on dealing with it. I'll give you one strategy. I'll give Theresa May one simple strategy. One of the things you could do is that anybody coming into the UK from anywhere in the world should have medical insurance. Now, you could get your medical insurance from NHS. So that 20 pounds, that 30 pounds that you pay for that medical insurance, that huge sum of money, from Africa alone, there are more than 200,000 people that are applying for visa every year to come in, as visitors. Now, if they pay 20 pounds, or they pay 20 pounds or 50 pounds, that's a lot of money, but we know they will not use the service. But when they want to use the service for emergency, they are covered. Those are the kind of things. But the Conservative will not introduce medical insurance. But when you go to Europe, you need medical insurance. When you're going to America, you need medical insurance. Why is it that we can't do that? So those are the kind of things that we are talking about. It's about controlled immigration. We don't believe that people should be unnecessarily detained. No, we don't. If you go to America today and you commit an offense, maybe at the airport, they put you on the next available flight and send you out. We are spending £40,000 a year to detain people. There's no reason for us to waste that kind of money. Those are kind of, why are you detaining people when you could easily send them back? And there are ways in which you could send them back. I used to be an assistant director within UK Border Agency, so I know about some of the initiatives that we could put in place that could help us from an immigration perspective. But most of the things we're doing is wrong. You know as well as I do that within our community, there are people that are working with their NI is being used in 6-7 places to work. We know that. We know people are doing this. But the government will not want to stop that, because this fake NIs that you're using is generating money for inland revenue. So if you say, okay, somebody has 3-4 jobs on one name, why can't you just follow that name up to find out, why is it this person is working in 4-5 places? And you know that by the time you look at it, if somebody uses somebody's name. So those are the kind of ways in which you can free up jobs for other people within our community. We want our children to have jobs. We don't want our kids
Let me put it on
to...
board. I've got Julius on the line. Julius, thank you for joining us on the program. Good morning, Julius. Morning, Julius. Good morning, Julius.
Good morning. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir. Thank you for calling into the studio.
Are you hearing me?
I can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
I'm talking to you. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can. Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning.
Okay,
We can.
Tunde, okay, let me tell you what I want to say. I want to talk to Mr. Tunde Olodo, or Mr. Tunde Olodo, or whatever.
Talk about Olodo,
okay.
the MP candidate for the Christian Alliance.
If I have to define Christianity for him, like myself as a Christian, yes, please, if I want to define the Christianity means for me the followers of Jesus. I am one of them. I'm trying to do what are the principles of Jesus, so that we can be, because when Jesus was alive, I think you remember, people like your party, there shouldn't be anything like a Christian party. That is, you might need to find another name for this party, because this party might be one of those people whom Jesus sent out of the temple, people who are gambling in the temple. These your members of the party might be one of them. Now you are using the name of Jesus now, Jesus of your own religion now. I mean to make money, because you cannot win. Not only that you cannot win.
But have you gone through the policies of the party?
People that are are family
Mr.
that
Julius?
a man and a woman, that Muslim and Christian that are married together. How do you want to? Sorry.
I wanted to ask you if you have actually gone through the policies of the party to conclude, to arrive at that conclusion.
Hello.
Have you seen the policy and the manifesto of the party for you to arrive at such a conclusion?
Yeah, what I'm saying, okay, now I've never been to their policy, but what I understand you. But I don't need to go to their party. The name, I'm saying the name is wrong. You can form any party, you can name anything, but a Christian party or Islamic party, they are totally wrong.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot. Let's just allow Tokpolodo to respond. Thank you for your concern and for your contribution. Okay. These are Christians you're trying to reach out to, but they are kind of pessimistic.
No. It's not that. He said by wisdom is a house built, and by understanding is established. He said, my people perish for lack of knowledge. The first thing is knowledge. And as my brother has clearly said, he's not even looked at the manifesto. So knowledge is important. One of the things I advise you to do, sir, and advise all the other people that are watching to do, is go and Google the Christian People's Alliance and look at the manifesto and see look at what we're talking about and see if we align with what you are talking about, because you are coming up and saying we are lying, we are gambling, but yet you're not looking at the parties that are. You're talking of a Home Secretary, Theresa May, who was Home Secretary, who promised tens of thousands to reduce immigration by tens of thousands for two parliamentary years, and nothing was 2 parliamentary periods, and nothing happened yet. And now he's promising that same thing. Is that not lie? And yet, you're saying that those are the parties that we should go and join. Are you talking about Corbyn, who refused to talk about what he will do on Trident on the weapon? And
well, his promise that he was going to keep Trident. He will take his time in deploying them.
There's nothing wrong in saying I do not believe in war. I believe in negotiation. Come up and say you do not believe in war, you believe in negotiation, and do that. Are you talking about Liberal Democrats who promise our children tuition free, and yet they did not deliver, and that was why they were beaten down in the last election, and now they are not promising other things? Most of our politicians are not truthful in some of the things they say, and that is why I will tell you what I will say. If I don't know the answer, I will tell you I don't know the answer, my hands are up, or I need to go and read it again. But I'm not going to be a fountain of all knowledge.
Okay, let me put you on. I've got you on the line. Ade, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Ade, good morning, Ade.
Good morning.
Thanks a lot. Go ahead and make your point.
I hope Mr. Oludo is not one of those that Jesus chased away from the garden, according to Mr. Julius. The truth of the matter is this, Mr. Oludo. Let's be honest to ourselves. Christianity now has become something else all over the world, from America to UK to Africa, Asia. We all know the atrocities committed by these so-called men of God. We don't need to. When it comes to religion, I don't like to go to it, but it is glaring. We all see what Christians are doing to their fellow brethren. I agree with Mr. Julius. Tolodo, you need to your party need to change that word Christianity, because a lot of people are not happy.
A party founded on the principles and values of Christianity. It's not about what you see people do.
What value of Christianity? If we translate it to what is happening to the men of God, if the men of God are not truthful, are not sincere to their fellow, their brethren, they enrich themselves at the expense of their followers. Telling me what value is that?
All right, Adi, thanks a lot. Let's allow Tokpe. Tokpe, the people, even people from your community that you're trying to appeal to, these are Christians, but they're still very skeptical about the views of the party and the name.
You see, and this is where information is important. Is the people are mixing up a church and a political party. Those are two different things. As we speak today, there are lots of Christian charity organizations that are going out into the community, going into places where Christians are being persecuted and helping them, spending money, using their time. The Red Cross and the other groups, Christian Aid, they're doing a lot of fantastic work. Church is a place of worship. That's a place of worship, just like a mosque is a place of worship. Charity organizations that are Christian oriented do Christian charitable work. A political party is using Christian political philosophy, ideology, and these are things that are tested. So when you see our manifesto, which is called our new manifesto, just like Labour Party and Christian Party, we're going to cost everything. I'm part of it, and people should look at me as an individual who have done a lot of things in our community. For people that want to know about me, they could go to my website or Google my name. They'll see that I've done a lot of things, and I'm coming out because I strongly believe that it is time. Nigel Farage, if I could mention, came out and said, you know what, this is my belief, and because of that, they got over 4 million votes, more than the Liberal Democrats, but yet they didn't have any. But now they're coming up with statements which is affecting policies. So if you as a pastor is concerned about planning permission, which you know more about it than I do, if you're concerned about the kind of challenges that is affecting Christians in the place of workplace, then Christian Party is who you need to vote for. If you want to continue to believe in lies and Confucian Party leading Confucian people, then vote for the Labour Party. If you want to believe,
I mean,
you have the right to.
I mean,
So I need to raise. No, I'm giving people the choice of what to pick. Whether Labour Party, Conservative Party, or Christian Party. We will tell you what it is.
Okay,
I know my brothers.
Okay.
We have some people that go to our website.
I want Kate to respond to you.
I think you've stressed much about this, and I don't know whether you just heard what you said. You said, and confused people. That means you are looking at the nation as well as they are confused. Yes, that's what it is. You know, because what I can say,
MPs that are not supporting their leader, and when their leader says something, they go against their leader. That's not a Christian value for me. For example, I'll give you a classic example.
I think this is a democratic country that everybody is entitled to freedom of speech and understanding. If those MPs have certain ideas that they are not happy with, I don't think there's anything wrong with them, trying to exercise their own belief. My own idea is that we are a party, and it has come to a time when someone who has been elected twice can now be listened to, so that we be strong and continue to fight what we are fighting. So really, I am speaking, saying to individually to the MPs, let us forget, because sometimes people talk about personality. I don't think personality has anything to do with leadership at a point. At a point, because I know that in the whole world, people want a charismatic person, the person that, you hear the voice shouting and so forth, not as bad as Trump would, does. But the main thing is that we come to a stage where this is where we stand, and this is what we should be doing. Yeah. And we are probably allowing other parties, to take advantage of that. But that doesn't stop people from knowing who they are going to vote for. Exactly. Because they now look at your MPs locally. What has your MP achieved within your locality? Is this an MP who you believe in? That he's really working hard for the people of the community there. If it is, go out and vote for that person. And this is what it matters very much. So I don't really think that Labour Party is confused. They are not confused. They are just exercising their own democratic power.
Okay,
at the same time, I am saying that time has come when we should actually follow the leader and support the leader at the same time, by being able to say to people, this is what I've done locally. Can you support me? Come out and vote for me, because I have worked so tirelessly. I have listened to you. I have knocked at the doors. I have held surgeries. I have I have replied to emails, and I have attempted to sort out your problems.
Daniel, thank you for joining us on the program. Good morning, Daniel. Where are you calling from? And thank you for waiting on the other side. Daniel, good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Yeah, you see, this discussion should not discuss religion at all. We are facing a decision situation. We are having this discussion came to be because of the issue of hard Brexit or no hard Brexit. Already, Scotland is complaining. Every sector of the economy is complaining. The thing is that where two elephants fight, the grass suffers. My own is that you should go for the party that will make life convenient. We're no longer in colonial era, whereby you restrict movements and do all these things. It doesn't help the nation in the long run. All I would say is that vote for the party that will make life easy for everybody. And I believe Labour is the right party to follow. Because if we're going for hard Brexit, EU equally has right to react to it. And then you find out that the ground, whoever is in the background will suffer for this. This is it.
All right, thanks so much. Thanks
Already
a lot.
we are telling EU that we are holding their future to ransom. They never know what to do at the right now.
All right, Daniel, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Daniel. Sam, I mean, people believe that Labour would deliver some favorable Brexit policy. Never minded the fact that even under Jeremy Corbyn, Labour has not come out specifically their policy on Brexit as Lib Dem has done.
Well, they can't say anything about it because they need to keep two different groups of people.
So that's the question now. I mean, that's put the leader in a very in a situation where tricky is very tricky for him. He's got party members who voted leave. He's got party members who voted stay. I mean, there couldn't have been anything more tricky than this for Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah, and it's not clear what it's not clear what their policy is anyway. I mean, they say, oh, we respect the result, but there's a large contingent of them who will say, and this goes to your point about honesty, they will say we respect the result and then they'll vote against the result. Yeah. But then there's another group of people who say we respect the result, but they respect it to the extent that they want to reach a conclusion that is as close to not respecting the result as it's possible to get while still technically respecting the result. And then there's another group of people who hate the European Union and want to get out of it. So there are three different sort of sets of kind of Labour Party supporter and that's kind of why they're saying nothing. They've said things like, oh, we'll definitely get a deal. Well, that's a terrible strategy to take into a negotiation. If I say, well, I'll definitely accept whatever your worst offer is, then why would you offer me anything at all? You can just offer me, £2.50 and a bag of crisps and I'll go away. There's no coherence to Labour on Brexit. I think that they will.
So which of the parties is actually having a very clear view on their position on Brexit?
The Liberal Democrats have, I mean, they sort of have a clear view. It's really another exercise in deceit, but it is a more transparent one, and so it's a bit like Donald Trump, right? He lies about everything, but it's so obvious that he's lying about stuff that he might as well be telling the truth. The Lib Dems are doing that. They're saying, oh, well, we want a second referendum. No, you don't. You want us to stay in the European Union. Fine, but that's their position. They want a second referendum because they think they can win it and keep Britain in the European Union. It's not clear what they'd do if they lost it. The Conservative Party have a fairly clear position on Brexit, which is that they're going to go and they're going to negotiate. And I think they've mostly been. I mean, the thing about there are some politicians who have integrity and who are honest people. And David Davis, the Brexit Secretary, is quite close to being one of those people, and he has been quite transparent about how I think he's quite a sensible person to have leading on the Brexit negotiations, and he's been quite transparent about how the Conservative government would proceed with Brexit. I think the Conservative position on Brexit is fine. It is to use the phrase that I don't really like. It is a hard Brexit, but I think it is. I think it is a clear line.
Brexit, because the government the party has not seen their 20 part of a hard Brexit.
Well, they've
the
said
negotiation has not even started.
no, but
so we cannot conclude that it's probably going to be a hard.
well, they have set out some of the things that they want, which aren't necessarily, they're not setting them out as red lines, but they've set out some of the things that they want. So they want an end to free movement, that's the hard Brexit side of the column. They want to be out of the single market, that's on the hard Brexit side. They want to be out of the customs union, that's on the hard Brexit side. They want to be out of the jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice, that's on the hard Brexit side. So they have a set of things, all of which put them fairly squarely on the hard Brexit side of things. Though obviously there are some Tories who are soft Brexiters, and there's an extent to which, and in a negotiation they will be pulled from their hard Brexit position across to a slightly softer one. You would have thought that would be the way that the negotiation would go.
Fair deal.
Yeah, well, I mean that's how you conduct a negotiation.
Okay, let me tell you, Yinka. Let's have Yinka's view. Yinka, thank you for joining us on the program. Good morning, Yinka.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sudan. Welcome back.
Thanks a lot.
Happy to see you back again.
Thank you.
Let me just leave these 3 points on the table for them to discuss. We've already had a lot of changes in so many countries, too, at the present. United Kingdom will be the third one. France and America. Like the gentlewoman in your midst have said it. Everybody expected another person. We have Donald Trump. In France, it's happening. The next one will be in the UK. And the reason has been that when we are talking about elections, and we believe that we need to play by joker or to fool people, every people's eyes have been open. Let me be frank with you. Talking about tuition fee, like the gentleman have spoken, I don't believe that they follow the policy outright. The women have already spoken the mind of the minority people. No matter how much you use or you collect from the government here as the tuition fee, you cannot make it back in order to remit it back to the purse of the government. It is unfair. I don't know what kind of a policy it is. Even the man Sam said that when you get a job that is above 21,000, that is the time you will be subjected to pay it back. No! Immediately they go to your bank and they'll be withdrawing the money back for them. I don't know why he's saying that. I'm a victim to it, and I am talking the rights and the points that is being established on this policy. Secondly, they fool us on the Brexit. The eyes of the people are open. Thank God that they gave the date to be June 8th. June 8th is for everybody to prepare. And to see that they put it out conservative. This is the high time. You could see the pressure right now, right from the day that they said that they want to move away from EU. We've been suffering a lot of things. Everything is in triple. When you want to buy fuel, it's in triple. When you want to go on a journey, it's in triple. Even now, their own citizens will feel it. To go to any EU country, you will need to take visa. Instead of you just jumping there and be messing about in their country, they will subject you to take visa. Secondly, the European money is now equivalent to the pound. And what are we talking about here? We are talking about a wrong decision in a wrong time. A wrong decision in a wrong time. And if the woman refuses to step back or to take a redress, the necessary thing to do justice to it is this 8th of June.
All right, you got thanks a lot. Thank you for your contribution. Got a couple of submissions. Tope, I'm going to come to you in 1 minute, but let me quickly ask it. Do you think Brexit could turn the clock around in favor of the Labour Party?
Looking at
it does seem that even people who voted Brexit, a large number have actually come out to say we think this is a mistake.
There's no doubt about it. You know, a lot of them know that it is a mistake, because just like some of the points that the last gentleman just raised, you know, these are the things that we're not thinking. They are coming up. Corbyn is not the only one, you know, campaigning. You know, it's also for us to campaign at the doorsteps as well. We campaign at the doorsteps, and we mention all those things, you know, that
but these are some of the issues that have actually come at you even when you go out there to campaign. They raise the issue of Corbyn.
Well, they raise the issue of Corbyn, but I always say it's not the issue of Corbyn at this very moment. The issue is your MP. You know, do you want your MP to be back, or do you want to lose your MP? You know, for someone who you don't know, who's, you know, how, because in as much as they're all member parliament, each and every one of them work in their community according to the way they fashion their own, you know, work. So I think that Brexit is very, very hard, and it's going to affect a lot of people, especially the young ones. This is why we want the young ones to come out and vote, because these are your future. You know, some of them that are learning languages in the school are now thinking, what's the need of me learning these languages? Because I'm going to get a visa to go over there. They were sure of going to, you know, expanding to get employment, you know, in Europe. Now, all of them are confused because they're not really sure whether that would happen as easily as it would have happened if we remain. So there is a lot of problem. And you talk about food, talk about fruits, talk about all the, and I talk about regeneration. The regeneration money is lost. Now even the Conservatives, they can't fund any of our young people. The youth centers are all closed down. These are some of the areas where we had the European money that we used, you know, to regenerate and to keep the young people off the street. So there are so many things that is going to happen, and it's already happening. And even the social services, even the education, you know, all of the money, where is the money gone? They're all gone, because some majority of the money that we get through the European Union is all now, you know, fizzling back, because once we're out, and we just have to cope. And how do we cope? By making things so harder, by making things so expensive. You know, I mean, I went to buy like a bottle of drink. It remains the amount, it remains the same money, and yet the amount is being reduced, you know, from 1 liter down to 750 mils, the same price. So they confuse you to make you know that, oh, it hasn't gone up, it's still the same price. People should be looking at this, you know. So you get a little amount for the same money, and you're thinking, oh, well, it's still the same price. So these are one of the same way they're going to confuse us, you know, by letting us not know that prices are going up, and that you are actually, when you go out, you are paying double for what you've been paying so little.
In your constituency, that's the Thames. I think that's a Labour Party held.
Yes, it is Labour Party
held constituency. I used to campaign going there, and it's also a constituency with huge number of ethnic minority.
Yes, it is. But more importantly, it has a lot of working class people, both black and white, who understand the importance of keeping their family afloat. And this is where the challenge is. You see, the problem is we have very, very good people in Labour Party. But if you vote in all the MPs, because the MPs all have something they have to do for you anyway. So whichever person comes in has a parliamentary duty that they have to do for you. But if you vote in all the MP, and Coburn comes in, Coburn is going to have a bit of challenge with his cabinet. And they might even vote him out. So do we want to go through this whole election again? And if you vote in Theresa May completely, she will do whatever she wants to do. So what you need to do is be strategic about how you take your vote and how you win your vote. But when you go back to Erith and Thamesmead, I'm believing that the people there are very good people, sensible people, mature people who are working hard and who want change. And that change is coming through me. I'll use all my expertise with over 20 years of experience being a student of politics. I understand what it needs to crunch the numbers. And if people could just only believe that we need change, we can't just continue to do things the way we used to do it. Can these dry bones come back to life again? Yes, of course. With God, all things are possible. But we're a Christian country and we need to understand that. And I believe that all parties need to come together. Not that one should be, knifing the other behind the back. There are things that everybody have voted for Brexit. There's no need for us to anger our neighbors. Let's work together, both Labour Party, both Conservative, both Liberal, both Green, and other parties like the Christian Party. Bring everybody together. Why is the Scottish people, why are they demanding for things? The reason why they were demanding was because they said they were not, what the things that they put forward to the Conservative Party was not even acknowledged. That's the kind of problem we have with the politicians we have. They speak with one mouth and they're saying something else with the other bit. So we need to come together, and what people should do when they go to vote on the 8th of June is look out for a party that talks the talk and wants to do the work,
Okay,
not just
all right.
speaking
All right,
for the sake
finally,
of speaking.
as I conclude, Sam, looking at this election generally, I mean, you've given some very, very firm knock on the Labour Party. You're not too good to the Leave Them as well. You keep almost wiped out at the general election.
Christian, you like?
He's not even saying anything about the Christian and people, so because he probably feels okay anyway. They're just joking, they're just coming off. So he's not. He's not
No,
even saying anything about
I think
you.
the thing that I would say is that you say that you've got to, think about what your local priorities are and vote tactically.
Yes.
How many votes did your party get in your constituency at the last election?
The
General election or
last general election.
the last one they did was 500, but we believe we can improve that now. Because
Sure,
you should remember
but
that people have empathy with both the Labour Party
Do you,
and the Conservative.
do you not think that you would be better off identifying? You're talking about, like, I don't know what the margin is there,
Yeah.
but one of the things that's been a theme throughout this general election is the Greens have decided not to stand here to help the Lib Dems, and the Lib Dems have decided not to stand here to support the Greens. Do you not think that you would be better off saying, well, look, we think for this election the best candidate, or the candidate who best reflects the candidate who could win, who best reflects what we're trying to do in our constituency is, for example, the Liberal Democrat, whoever it might be, and putting your supporters, your efforts, and your kind of your drive, your Christian ethics behind a candidate who, with all respect, has a more realistic chance of winning the seat.
I love the statement you just made, because just last week, a lot of political parties, including Labour Party leaders, came together to say we need to change the voting style, because this voting style is the reason why we are where we are now. But what we found out with, again, UKIP, is that people decided to vote for what they believe in, and as a result, as we speak now, UKIP, whether we like it or not, are directly or indirectly influencing policy. And that's why we're saying to Christians out there now, you need to vote for Christians in order to be able to change things around. Political strategizing and repositioning is important now, and that's the reason why.
Let's 1 minute on this tactical voting. Couple of weeks ago, there was this group, Progressive
Alliance
launched, which they claimed helped Macron in France, and one other country where it was used successfully well. Progressive Alliance. How does that work? People are saying, well, this is some brainchild of the Labour Party and the
it's not. The Labour Party hate the idea of a progressive alliance because they think that they should be the only progressive alliance in the country, which I don't think is a completely unreasonable position. I mean, for as long as the thing that is both brilliant and terrible about the first past the post electoral system, which is what a lot of people think should change. I'm actually quite a big fan of first past the post, because the thing that's good about first past the post is it forces voters to make a straight choice between a small number of candidates, and it compels political parties. If we had a rigid two-party system in the same way that they do in the United States, which is also, it's just a consequence of first past the post, it's a two-party system. If instead of, if people decided, well, look, we've been Lib Dems, we've been Greens, but realistically, we're much better off being part of the Labour movement, or we've been UKIP, but realistically, we're much better off as part of the Conservative movement. What would happen as a result of that is Greens would actually get some policies done. If a load of people, the Greens got 1 million votes, if the last general election, I think something in that region. If all of those people who supported the Greens instead said, we support Labour, and we want Labour to become more green, we want Labour to become more left-wing, then you would have a political system, you would end up in a situation where you had two parties which between them represented the full plurality of views within Britain, and both of which had a realistic chance of government. In a multi-party system, which is what we're moving towards, and that becomes more likely if we go with proportional representation, what you instead have is thousands of different parties, each with their own voice, each with their own distinctive sets of priorities, and the deal is done as to who gets to govern and how they govern. The deal is done behind closed doors. It's done away from prying eyes, and it's coalitions of parties It creates governments because your legislature becomes more representative of what people want, your governing party becomes less representative of ordinary people. And that's the consequence of proportional representation. I can see the appeal for minority parties like yours. But so actually what's interesting about your pitch is that really what you're saying is, in the constituency I'm running in, the Conservative candidate might win, the Labour candidate will probably win. But what you should do, if you are a Christian person and if you agree with me about things and if you believe in the things that I believe, is you should vote for me. Because even though I probably won't win, if enough people around the country vote for people like me, we will change the minds of the people who have won. Yeah. And that's an interesting proposition, and quite a smart political proposition, I think.
Finally, are we likely to get, if this progressive alliance works, where in the particular constituency where Greens, Lib Dem share about 3 million votes, and they say, guys, if we put these 3 million votes all together, we're likely to beat the Conservative. And then both parties say, you know what, Green candidate's not going, let's put our resources behind this Lib Dem candidates. And then that pulls up the votes. Are we likely to get a coalition system eventually at the end of the day?
Well, it depends on how many of
is your party in support of the Progressive Alliance?
Not really.
So you are probably not going to be beneficiaries of these. No. Okay. Are we likely to end up with a coalition? Or
no, it'll be a Conservative government. But the thing that I would say that's interesting about this idea of a progressive alliance that I think is a bit crazy is that the Lib Dems are sharing, are making political deals with the Greens. Well, the Liberal Democrats are to the right of the Labour Party, and the Labour Party is to the right of the Green Party. I suppose it could be construed as a progressive alliance, but really, Nick Clegg is infinitely closer to Theresa May politically than he is to Caroline Lucas, who is 1,000 miles away from him in political terms. So I think the progressive alliance is an interesting concept, but it's putting together some very strange bedfellows.
All right, Sam is said to be independent, but seems to be more conservative. Thanks a lot, Sam, for giving a whole lot of defense to the Conservative parties. Thanks a lot. And a couple of knocks on the Labour Party. Thanks a lot. And Kate Anole, former mayor, thanks a lot for speaking for the Labour Party.
Thank you very much.
We've heard from UKIP in our news. Thanks a lot. And Christian People's Alliance,
yes.
wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
To have you in the parliament.
Thank you.
From the ethnic minorities.
Yes.
Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
You're in Tastemead. You
have to work so hard to take off that
21 votes,
yes.
20,000.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. I'll be counting on you to come and join me on the door.
Wednesday is another day. We'll be having Meglia on the program here on Wednesday. She'll be joining us. Meglia is an MP of the Labour Party. Watch out for that interview on Wednesday, 6 o'clock. Don't go away. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye. As part of our continued efforts to reach the African and other ethnic communities in the United Kingdom with greater impacts and create a platform to hear your silent and unheard views in this hugely green